Turning our attention now to Washington and the government shutdown. Joining us now is Larry Sanders, our ag policy specialist. And Larry, let's kind of start with some of the things that agriculture folks and people in rural Oklahoma might want to think about in terms of the shutdown.
Well, I think first of all, I just want to briefly say that there's a difference between being balanced and being objective. And I'm more concerned than I have been in a long time about what's happening with the economy because of the politics. And from an objective perspective, we've got some real issues here. Farmers are going to suffer, are suffering already because of this situation. If we get to the debt crisis and don't do anything about it, the whole economy and the global economy are going to be in peril. And there are issues beyond this narrow scope that are going to affect us adversely for a long time to come.
Regardless of political affiliation, everybody's talking about this, thinking about this, and what are some of the specifics that are going to be happening to farmers or already have?
Sure. Farmers and ranchers, landowners that are expecting checks aren't going to be getting them until those offices are able to reopen. If they need those checks from FSA or NRCS co-signed, there's not going to be anybody there to co-sign them. If they need federally supported loans, those aren't going to be available. They can be concerned about what's going to happen with interest rates, what their bankers are going to say about pending loans. There's going to be no immediate help from the normal programs because those people are out on the shutdown.
And in terms of the federal debt, where are we there if Congress doesn't act soon?
I think there's a big disconnect on understanding how the federal government works. And if we don't find a way to raise the debt ceiling within the next month, this is going to occur between mid-October and mid-November, the government is just simply not going to be able to pay its bills. So if you bought T-bills on a short-term basis and are expecting an interest payment, you're not going to get it. The government's going to have to decide whether they pay a Social Security check or a veteran's check or a soldier's check, and there isn't going to be any money there to do that. The government is going to be unable to function. That is going to have a ripple effect across our national economy. Markets are going to take a nosedive. The global economy, which considers the U.S. the leader in the world economy, is going to be adversely affected.
And what are some of the other larger impacts that you're keeping an eye on?
Well, you know, we just are beginning to claw our way out of this economic meltdown, the worst recession we ever had in 2008 since the Great Depression. We're going to see the economy shrink. We're going to see more unemployment. So we're going to move from this 7% that we're at, perhaps back up around the 10% level relatively quickly. And rather than weeks or months for recovery, this is going to take years to get over. Interest rates are going to begin to go up, and there is no end in sight if we go over that cliff.
A lot of people are really frustrated right now. Also consumers, we haven't yet mentioned them. What are some of the concerns there?
Well, it's easy for many of us who are able to get up and have a full cupboard and refrigerator to not think about this. There's lots of marginal poor out there that rely on federal assistance in the short run, and you can agree or disagree on whether that's right, but those programs are beginning to shut down because they don't have the money to function. They don't have the people there to manage them. If we go through the longer term, some of the programs that they've tried to protect, like school lunch programs, breakfast for seniors, are going to be shut down. If you go beyond that, when you don't have the inspectors there to inspect the domestic food, when you don't have the inspectors to inspect what's coming in from foreign countries, going to be less safety there. And if we don't have farmers have operating loans to get the seed in the ground, next year we're going to see higher prices and food shortages.
Finally, a brief glimmer of hope, a little bit of positive news in terms of the Farm Bill, which we know is all kind of run parallel to the other things we've talked about.
It's outside this, but it's affected because Congress is so dysfunctional right now. The Senate had passed a Farm Bill months ago. They have been waiting with a conference committee from their side. The House finally decided to bring their food bill and their Farm Bill together again just within the last few weeks, and that's allowed the leadership to sit down and begin drawing up a list of conferees from the House side, and we are told today that they will be announcing that soon. So if they announce that, we'll see Congressman Lucas from our state and others sit down with the Senate. It's not going to be an easy discussion, and if they do find a way to come together on it, it's not going to be easy to get it through both the House and the Senate and get the president's signature. But we get the conference started, and there is a beginnings of hope for a new farm bill.
Okay, well, a little bit of good news there. Larry, thanks so much to you and your team for helping us sort this all out, and we'll hear from you again soon. Larry Sanders, our Ag Policy Specialist and longtime professor here at OSU.